Nothing special. We were in Moscow. We
Uh-huh.
were in the shop center also. No, just walked and bought some stuff.
Nice. And Julio, welcome to class. Julio, how are you?
Hi, Yosha. I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Nice. Nice. It's good to see you again. Um,
Good to see you, bro.
what'd you do today?
Sorry? Can you repeat
So
that?
what? Yeah, what'd you do today? What did you do today?
Well, actually, I just woke up. It's 10 a.m. in the
Okay.
morning here. So I just woke up, turned on my computer, and signed in for this class. I'm also
Nice. I guess.
having I'm also having my breakfast
Go
right
ahead.
now.
Okay. Nice. And what else are you going to do today? What's your plan?
I don't know if you can see my breakfast. I got like fruit here with
Oh,
some yogurt on it, and
that does look delicious.
I just have a sandwich here
Nice.
and some jelly. And my dad he prepares this special like juice with tons of different fruits and vegetables. Actually
All
tastes
right.
hideous, but he says it's really good for me. So
Okay. So taste hideous, but it might be really good for you. Well,
yeah, that's what
one
he
hopes.
says. Like he's like he thinks it's like the miracle juice. So gotta take it.
What kinds of fruits and vegetables does it have?
Well, I know it has like papaya and banana and apples, and I also have like celery and um, garlic and some hardcore stuff like some fruits that I don't even know, like chia. I don't know if you have heard about like chia seeds. It's like some kind of
Yeah.
Indian seeds and a lot of weird stuff.
Okay. Nice. Um, sounds odd. Ken, welcome to class. Ken, how's it going?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. And Ken, what did you do today?
I did. I took the one class before and about
Okay.
dancing. Bruce Springsteen song, Dancing in the Dark. So the
Okay.
lyrics.
That sounds like an
Yeah,
interesting
I
class.
know that song very well, but I couldn't understand some part of the lyrics. So yeah, I and now I could understand the meaning of the lyrics fully. So I'm glad.
Cool. That sounds like fun. That's actually an interesting class, kind of like going through poetry. Hmm. Okay.
Mm. Yeah, poetry or lyrics is
All
one of
right.
the difficult.
Sorry. Yeah, deciphering lyrics would be really difficult. Um, uh,
Yes.
can you read this first part? So the first question.
Me? Or
Alvina. Alvina.
okay.
Okay. I don't see it now.
Okay, so if you click on my name,
So yes, okay. Today's topic, lightning. How dangerous is it really to be in a pool during a thunderstorm?
nice. You did a really good job with the enunciation around at the beginning. Maybe instead of during, we do during. During.
During. During. Okay.
Yeah, during. And just be
During.
aware, I will be writing in the chat box, not the verbling chat box, not the verbling chat box.
Uh-huh.
It's not working for me, but the other chat box. So if you guys want to follow along there. Okay, and Artem, can you read the next question? Artem?
Yes. What would happen if you were taking a shower when you were struck by lightning or standing under a waterfall?
Good. And what about the next one? Ever.
Okay. Um, what would happen if you were in a boat or in a plane that got hit by lightning or a submarine?
Nice. Yeah, maybe submarine. Submarine. Can you repeat that?
Submarine?
Good. And Julio, what about the last question? Or the next question?
Okay. Give me just 1 second. Okay, I just got a little problem trying to see the screen. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, what if you were changing the light at the top of a ray, lightning stroke? Or what if you were doing a backflip, or standing in a graphite field, or looking straight up at the bolt?
Yeah. And let's have Ken. Can you read the last two questions?
Okay, what if would happen if lightning struck a bullet in the meteor? And what if you were flashing your BIOS during a thunderstorm and you got hit by lightning?
Yeah. Okay. Good. If lightning struck a bullet in midair.
In midair.
Yeah. Good. And I think we're good. If you're flashing your BIOS, so BIOS is just like a computer instruction that controls input and output operations. In case you didn't know, so it's like kind of a computer thing. But good. So those are the questions, and let's start with Alvina. Can you read this first part?
Sorry. Before we go any further, I want to emphasize something. I'm not an authority on lightning safety. I'm a guy who draws pictures on the internet. I like when things catch fire and explode, which means I do not have your best interest in mind. The authorities on lightning safety are the folk at the U.S. National Weather Service.
Good. Okay. So a couple of small things. Emphasize.
Emphasize.
Huh?
Emphasize.
Oh wow. And that didn't work. So emphasize. Yep. And then authorities.
Authorities.
Yeah.
Authorities.
Good. And folks.
Folks.
Yeah. Folks.
Folks.
You could also say folks. The folks. But I think folks sounds the best. That was good though. Nice job. And Artem, can you read this next part?
Okay. We said that out of the way to answer these questions, we need to go to get an idea of where lightning is likely to go. There is a cool trick for this, and I'll give it away right here at the start. Roll an imaginary 60-meter sphere across the landscape and look at where it touches.
And maybe touches. Touches.
Okay, touches.
Good. 60-meter sphere. A 60-meter sphere.
60-meter sphere.
Yeah. 60-meter sphere. And imaginary.
Imaginary.
Nice. Good. Yeah. Well done. Any questions so far? Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I don't understand exactly what is he trying to say in the second, well, in this paragraph. It says like imagine a sphere across the landscape and look at where it touches, but where it touches what?
Yeah. So across the landscape, I think he's going to explain it a little bit further. So I think that's kind of ambiguous on
Okay,
purpose. Does that make sense?
sure.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So good. Ever, can you read the next one? Ever? Okay. Julio, can you read the next part?
Sure. They say lightning strikes the tallest thing around. That's the kind of maddening, oh my God, maddeningly inexact statement that immediately sparks all kind of questions. How far is around? I mean, not all lightning hits Mount Everest, but does it find the tallest person in a crowd? The tallest person I know is probably Ryan North, paleontologist. Estimate he stood nearly 5 meters tall at the shoulder. Should I try to hang around him for lightning safety reasons? What about other reasons? This is probably why you people ask the question on this blog, not me.
Good. And so this is another just web comic artist. So he's making a joke with paleontologists, and he is not 5 meters tall. So that's kind of a joke. Really good job with your pronunciation of paleontologists. A couple other things. Inexact.
Inexact.
Good. Maddeningly. Maddeningly.
Maddeningly. Maddeningly.
Nice. Maddeningly. Good. So can you repeat? That's the kind of maddeningly inexact statement.
That's a kind of maddeningly inexact statement.
Nice. Good job. Okay. And I think we're good. So, good. Let's go to the next part. Ken, can you read? Actually, questions. Any questions here?
What is paleontologist?
Okay. Does anybody know what a paleontologist is?
Kind of.
Can
It's
you
a
explain?
profession. Yes. It's profession. Profession of person, scientist.
Yeah. So it's a scientific profession.
It's a person that studies the remains of animals and people through, when they find the bones and stuff or dinosaurs or
I see.
critters, and they study them and they try to recreate how they lived and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. And so this is kind of funny because he writes comics about dinosaurs. I'm not sure. Um, can give you a link. um, so hold on. So it's kind of a joke about dinosaurs and this person's comic, um, which is that. Not that. That. Any other questions? Okay. And so let's have Ken. Can you read this next part?
But how does lightning pick its target? This video captured by Tom A. Warner might be the single coolest piece of footage I've ever seen. It shows a lot of lightning recorded at 7,207 frames per second. The 33-second video represents barely a tenth of a second of real time. There are lots of slow motion videos of lightning, but this is by far the best I've found.
Good. Okay, and I'll send you guys that link in a second. So how does lightning pick its targets? Can you repeat that? How does?
How does?
Yeah. Good. So how does lightning pick its targets? Can you repeat the question one more time?
But how does lightning pick its target?
Yeah. Good. So just again, when something is italicized like that, we really want to emphasize it. The next one would be footage. Footage.
Footage.
Good. And recorded.
Recorded.
Nice. And I wonder if we can actually watch this here. If not, I will send it to you. Okay, so that's not available. But I sent it in the chat box if you want to do that, or if that helps. So let's go back here. And let's have Arbina. Actually, David, welcome to class. David, how are you?
Hi Joshua, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. And welcome to class. Arbina, can you read this next part?
Tom's video gives an idea of how lightning moves. It starts with a branching bundle of charge, the leader descending from the cloud. This is what you see in the first part of the video. It spreads downward at speed of tens to hundreds of kilometers per second, covering the few kilometers to the ground in a few dozen milliseconds.
Okay. Nice job. So it spreads downward. It spreads downward.
Spreads downward. Downward.
Good. And then kilometers.
Kilometers.
Yeah,
Kilometers.
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 So it spreads downward at speeds of tens to hundreds of kilometers per second.
It spreads downward at speeds of tens to hundreds of kilometers per second.
Nice. And then covering the few kilometers to the ground in a few dozen milliseconds.
Covering the few kilometers to the ground in a few dozen milliseconds.
Good. Okay. And does anybody have any questions about this part? Okay. And Artem, can you read this next part?
Do you ask me?
Yes, Artem.
I'm sorry. Do you ask me?
Yes, Artem. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The leader carries comparatively little current on the order of 200 amps. That's still enough to kill you, but it's nothing compared to what happens next. Once the leader makes contact with the ground, the cloud and the ground equalize with a massive discharge of more like 20,000 amps. This is the blinding flash. It races back up the channel at a significant fraction of the speed of light, covering the distance in under a millisecond, all within a single frame of that video.
Nice. Okay, really good. Okay, so a couple of difficult things comparatively. Good. Contact.
Contact.
blinding.
Blinding.
It's blinding. And then flash you see.
Flash you see.
Yeah. So can you repeat? This is the blinding flash you see.
This is a blinding flash you see.
Yeah, the blinding flash you see.
Sorry?
But it was just the, so it was just an article difference. But good.
Oh.
Any questions here? Okay, David, can you read it? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It races back up the channel at a significant fraction of the speed of light. What does this sentence mean?
Okay, who can explain
Yes.
this? Does anybody know? It races back up the channel at a significant fraction of the speed of light.
Mm,
Okay, and so what we're talking about here is the downstroke and the upstroke. And so the downstroke, this leader that we were talking about, goes down. So I'm trying to get a page so I can draw it. Yeah.
oh, I think I get it. This when the light actually goes back up
Uh-huh.
through the
Yeah.
same. That's like it bounces back to the cloud or something like that.
Exactly. So, and an upstroke, the downstroke, 100. So, if we go clouds, which maybe is that, and it comes down on one path, hits the ground, and this is small, and then it goes back up the same path, but it's multiplied by a lot. Does that kind of make sense? And it,
So return to faster speed than hit to the
We don't-
earth.
first stroke is slow and less
Slower.
powerful. But the second, more powerful
Okay.
stroke goes on the same channel, along the same path,
Wow. I see.
just faster
Mhm.
and
Okay.
more powerfully. And just more quickly, more powerfully. Yeah, and I think that's all that the sentence was saying. Does that make sense? Oh, a significant fraction of the speed of light. It's like close to the same speed of light. So a significant fraction, it's like a large percentage of the speed of light.
Okay.
Good. And let's get back into and any other questions here? Okay, and I think, David, that was you just reading, right?
No.
Ah, was that Artem? Who just read? I'm sorry. Okay, David, can you read the next one?
Technical detail, while it's called a return stroke, charge is still flowing downward. However, the discharge appears to propagate upward. This effect similar to how when a traffic light turns green, or whatever color. The cars in front start moving, then the cars in back so the movement appears to spread backward.
Good.
Mhm.
You did a good job here. However, is the only thing. However,
Sorry, what word? However,
yeah. However, so
However.
the discharge appears to
However.
propagate upward.
however. Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was good. Any questions here?
Propagate.
Propagate.
Propagate. Yeah.
Does anybody know what's propagate mean?
To spread out.
Yeah. Really similar. So it's like, yeah, to spread, disseminate. Yeah, to propagate. That works. So this is kind of like spreading out upwards, or it's like carrying on. Does that make sense, Ken?
Yes, thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Yes, Joshua, sorry. What is the topic of the reading?
So we've got a number of different questions about lightning. So we're kind of just learning about lightning. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So we get more into these questions later. But good. And I think we're here. And so let's have Julio. Can you read this next part?
Sure. So the place on the ground where we see a bolt strike is the spot where the leader first makes contact with the surface. The leader moves down through the air in little jumps. It's ultimately feeling its way towards the usually positive charge in the ground. However, it only feels charges within a few tens of meters of the tip. If there is something connected to the ground within that distance, the ball will jump to it. Otherwise, it jumps out in a semi-random direction and repeats the process.
Yeah. That was good. You were a little bit choppy for part of that. I'm not sure if that's my internet connection or yours. So surface. Surface. Can you repeat
Surface.
that? And then down through the
Surface.
air.
Down through the air.
Yeah. So the leader moves down through the air in little jumps.
The leader moves down through the air in little jumps.
Good. And maybe usually.
Usually.
Yeah, usually. That's a tough one. But good, you did a really good job there. Any questions here? Okay.
I try to imagine the situation. It's
You'd like
does this picture illustrate this paragraph? I try
Yeah,
to
I
imagine
think
the content. How does it happen?
yeah, so the picture's kind of illustrating it. So it has the few tens of meters circle, and there's no ground here, and it has that series of steps. So as it goes down, it chooses something within tens of meters, and it'll hit the tallest thing within tens of meters in a semi-random direction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so yeah, the picture does illustrate that. Any other questions? Okay. And so Ken, can you read this next part?
Okay, this is where the 6-meter sphere comes in. It's a way to imagine what spots might be the first thing the leader senses, the place it might jump to in its next final step. To figure out where lightning is likely to hit, you roll the imaginary 60-meter sphere across the landscape. For safety reasons, do not use a real sphere. This sphere climbs up over trees and buildings without passing through anything or rolling it up. Places the surface makes contact. Treetops, fence posts, and golfers in fields are potential lightning targets.
Good. Yeah, I think you're good. Maybe 60, a 60-meter sphere.
60-meter sphere.
Yeah. And then one more time with lightning.
Lightning.
Good. Okay. And any questions here?
No, now finally we know why should we imagine 60-meter sphere. Just to
Yeah.
understand the process.
Okay, good. And Arvina, can you read this next part?
Okay. This means I don't see the upper one. This means
Yeah, this
you
means.
can. This means you can calculate a lightning shadow around an object of height h on a flat surface. The shadow is the area where the lead is likely to hit the tall object instead of the ground around it. Shadow radius. I cannot read the formula.
Yeah, you don't have to read the formula. Yeah, so this means calculate.
Calculate.
The lightning shadow around an object of height h on a flat surface. Maybe surface too.
Surface. Surface.
Mhm.
Okay? Surface.
Surface.
Surface. Surface.
Okay.
Surface.
Yeah, so the shadow is the area where the leader is likely to hit the tall object instead of the ground around it. Good. Any questions here? This is a little bit tricky. Does this diagram kind of help explain it?
Not really.
Okay. Does anybody think they could explain it?
So we he explained us the dangerous distance which where lightning can hit the person or some high object.
Yeah. So if we have a lightning bolt, which is the tip is right here, it has this sphere. So if there's anything within this sphere that is taller, so it's got a shadow, which is kind of the circle. And so if there's anything taller around here, it'll hit that taller object instead of the ground, which is close. So it just makes these jumps. So this is depending on where it's ending. Its next jump is either to here or here, depending on the height of the object, or to the ground if the object is outside of the lightning shadow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And does that make sense, Artem? I think that was your question.
Oh, it wasn't my question.
Oh, Julia, was that your question? Or Ever?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I,
Okay.
I think that it is not really that helpful because if if the lightning sphere is a few, I don't know, centimeters to the left, and it cannot reach the tallest thing that is here in the picture, and you are the next tallest thing, then it's gonna strike you. So I guess
Exactly. It's really
the safest way to protect yourself from a lightning is to be between two tall objects, so
yeah.
you can cover.
Or to be like yeah, plastic too. But I think he was saying that too. It's pretty random, so lots of randomness. Yeah. Okay, and so again, we've already got the shadow radius. This is the formula. And let's have,
Can you read the formula, Joshua, for us?
yeah, so the square root of negative h, parentheses, h minus 2r, and parentheses.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think we're in Artem. Can you read this next part?
Yes. From now, yes?
Pardon?
From now.
Yes.
From now, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that doesn't mean you are safe on the ground around it. Often it means the opposite. After the current hits the tall object, it falls out into the ground. If you're touching the ground nearby, it can travel through your body. Over the 28 people killed by lightning so far this year, 13 were standing under or near trees.
Nice. Okay. That was really good. A couple small things. Doesn't mean you're safe on the ground around it. Can you repeat that
Now
first part?
that doesn't mean you are safe on the ground or around it.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you're safe. Yeah, good. So one thing to work on maybe is with things like this on the, we don't want to really emphasize those words. We kind of blur them together. So same thing with you and R. Now, that doesn't mean you're safe. Yeah, so especially things around these italicized words, we kind of blur them together. So we'd say now, that doesn't mean you're safe on the ground around it. So a lot of prepositions, pronouns, we kind of just speed through. So practice kind of speeding through those. Not here. That was good. But yeah,
Okay.
just be aware of it. And then flows. Flows.
Flows.
Flows. Okay. And David, can you read this next part?
Sure, Joshua. Can you show me what I have to read again, please?
Yeah.
Okay. With all this in mind, let's look at possible lightning paths for the scenarios in the questions. How dangerous is it, really, to be in a pool during a thunderstorm? Pretty dangerous. Water is conductive, but that is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that if you are swimming, your head is poking up from a large flat surface, but lightning striking the water near you will still be bad. The 20,000 amps spread outward, mostly over the surface, but how much of a jolt it will give you at what distance is hard to calculate.
Okay. Good. But how much of a jolt it will give you at what distance is hard to calculate.
But how much of a jolt it will give you at what distance is hard to calculate.
Good. Conductive
Conductive.
and thunderstorm.
Okay, thunderstorm. Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm.
Okay. Good. Any questions here?
Poking up.
Okay, good. Does anybody know what
Poking up, it means that it is higher than a surface, flat surface.
Yeah. So if we have something like poking up, to poke, do you know what it means to poke?
Mm-hmm. No.
So if you touch somebody with just one finger, you're poking them. So you can, it's generally pretty annoying to poke somebody. When you're poking through something, you've got a small amount of something going through something else. So yeah, poking up from the water, it's like you're not completely out of the water. Just a small area of your body is out from the water. David, do you understand, kind of?
Yes, Joshua, sure. Thank you.
Okay. And any other questions? Okay. And then let's try this next part. Julio, can you read that next part?
Sure. My guess is that you'd be in significant danger anywhere within a minimum of a dozen meters and further in fresh water, because the current will be happier to take a shortcut through you. What would happen if you were taking a shower when you were struck by lightning, or standing under a waterfall?
Good. Yeah, so take a shortcut through you. Through you.
Take a shortcut through you.
Yeah, good.
Through you.
Yeah, perfect. And further.
Further.
And within.
Within.
Nice, within. What would happen here? Good. And this next one, Alvina, can you read this next part?
You are not in danger from the spray. It's just a bunch of droplets of water in the air. It's the tap under your feet and the puddle of water in contact with the plumbing. That's the real threat.
Good. Okay, it's the tub under your feet. Tub.
Tap under your feet
And the puddle of water.
and the puddle of water.
In contact with the plumbing.
In contact with the plumbing.
That's the real threat.
That's the real threat.
Good. Can you read that sentence one more time? So it's the tub under your feet and the puddle of water in contact with the plumbing. That's the real threat.
It's the tap under your feet and the puddle of water in contact with the plumbing. That's the real threat.
Good. And did you read this? Can you read this one more time?
What would happen if you were in a boat or a plane that got hit by lightning, or a submarine?
Good. And let's have Artem. Can you read this next paragraph?
Boat without a cabin is about as safe as golf course. A boat with a closed cabin and a lighting protection system is about as safe as a car. A submarine is about as safe as a submarine safe. A submarine safe is not to be confused with a safe in a submarine. A safe in a submarine is substantially safer than a submarine safe.
Okay. A submarine is about as safe as a submarine safe. A submarine safe is not to be confused with a safe in a submarine. A safe in a submarine is substantially safer than a submarine safe. Yeah, right. Can you repeat submarine safe?
Okay, submarine safe.
Good. Cabin.
Cabin.
Good. And I think you did a good job with everything else. Nice job with lightning protection system. Does anybody have any questions here? Okay, no questions. Yeah, right. I'm not even really sure what a submarine safe is. Does anybody know what a submarine safe is?
Safe, I think safe is a special place where we can keep gold or money. I think it's kind of joke about
Yeah,
safe.
it. I think it is too, but I'm just not sure what the difference is between a submarine safe and a safe in a submarine is. So safe in a submarine is more literally actually what you keep money in, the safe that is in a submarine, and I'm just not
A,
sure why a
sub,
safe.
a submarine safe. First, probably submarine means adjective. A submarine safe.
Yeah,
Safe. So it's noun. Yes. So submarine safe. So you can is not to be confused with safe and submarine. Safe is the thing in submarine. A submarine safe means the condition.
okay, yeah, it could be. I'm really not 100% sure what he means there, but I think you've got a good theory. All right, and let's have David. Can you read the next part?
Sure, Joshua. What if you were changing the light at the top of a radio tower and lightning struck? Or what if you were doing a backflip or standing in a graphite field or looking straight up at the bolt?
Graphite. Can you repeat graphite?
Graphite. Sure,
Uh-huh.
graphite.
Right.
Sure.
And can you read the comic?
Uh-huh. Wait, what the heck is a graphite field? How
Graphite.
do graphite field? How do it get here?
How did,
No.
sorry.
Oh yes. How did it get here? No, don't stare directly into a lightning bolt. It can damage your eyes.
Good. So yeah, pretty much in all of these things, um, there's somebody getting electrocuted by a lightning bolt, so it doesn't really matter. Any of them, except the graphite field, which doesn't really make sense. Graphite is a type of rock, I guess. It's in pencils. Anyways, we're just out of time. If you guys want to read the end of this, I can send it to you here. So this is the link. I do have to end class. I've got another class. Thanks for coming. So we're missing the bullet, getting hit by lightning, and, you know.
Very interesting article. Thank you for material.
Yeah.
Now I'm afraid of lightning.